Good morning, everyone. This is Russell Rucker, and I'm here for another constitutional talk. Now, today, I'd like to talk about our military, our commander-in-chief, our ability to go to war, and with hostilities in the Middle East, I think it's important that we discuss this because some people are saying that we've done something wrong here. In Article 2, Section 2, it says, the President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into actual service of the United States. This gives the President the responsibility of manning the military. And of course, we do have a Secretary of War. We have chiefs in the executive for military service. So he's responsible once we go to war, and he can call in the service as Commander-in-Chief and actually start wars. He can engage in that kind of activity. Now, if you go to Article 1, Section 8, knee-deep into the areas that discussing congressional power, it says to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules governing captures on land and water. So Congress has the power to declare war. So how do we... And by the way, I'm reading out of textualism and originalism in our constitutional republic. So how do we rectify the power of the President to be Commander-in-Chief and the power of Congress to declare war? Well, this has been an age-old question, really, that's gone on, especially since like the Vietnam War and that, because initially we would routinely declare war once in conflict. For instance, when Pearl Harbor attacked, the next day Congress declared war against both Japan and Germany. So we get up to about 1973, and we've got Vietnam going on, and they decided that they needed some kind of law, congressional thing, in order to rule over when we get into conflict, and they came up with the War Powers Act. Now, the War Powers Act requires, and it kind of explains exactly what should happen. So if we get into conflict, the President has to give a report to Congress within 48 hours of hostilities beginning, and that report has to spell out exactly what was done, where, how, and the number of armaments, and all this. It has to be a fairly lengthy congressional notice. Now, with this notice, he can engage in the conflict or a conflict for 60 days, no longer. When the 60 days is over, he is allowed 30 days of basic conflict in order to withdraw from the conflict. Now, that's assuming Congress has not acted by then and given him congressional authority. I know many times we get into conflicts without any congressional authority at all. In fact, we've really only had, since this, one instance where we got congressional authority, and that was when they declared war against terrorism, and that, I believe, that's in 2001. But the act itself, not part of the Constitution, but it's meant to help explain what should happen if we're engaged in a conflict. It probably should go through the normal process and be attached to the Constitution to make it more clear. And in my view, everything of substance that we're allowing our government to do should go through the process of amendment, especially something like this to better clarify. So I think that that's important, especially now with people claiming that that the president has violated his rights under the Constitution. I think we need to really go through this a little bit, and I hope that this helps you better understand exactly what's supposed to take place. And there are, in the War Powers Act, instances that are spelled out, like if we're in attack, if there's a pending attack, if they have these different scenarios. So you can't just go in for no reason at all. If you believe that there's a pending attack, if you believe you are under attack, if there are scenarios there in the first section. I just hope that helps you better understand it. And war is a serious, serious thing. When we have to go to war and we have to engage in conflict, it's serious business. I've always been the belief that you debate politics until the war begins. Once the war begins, you go with your country. You go to war with your country. You support the conflict. You support the war. Because to do so would undercut military readiness. It would undercut the troops. And it's just, we should not be engaged in a war in the streets of America. We should be engaged with it on the battlefield. With that, I'll catch you next time on the next Constitution Talk. Have a good day for now, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.